All right, ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to another episode of the podcast here at Online Trading Campus in our office at the Opus by Omniat. Today with another special guest, Jan. To describe Jan in one sentence, I would say Jan combines the best of both worlds. He is now a certified successfully trading. He's a certified verified prop trader, certified with FTMO, and he's also having a successful corporate career. He's actually, in fact, the general manager of a big hotel franchise hotel chain in Dubai. So how Jan is juggling both and all of that, trading, corporate career, executive level corporate career, family, kids, hobbies, you name it. That's what we're going to talk about today. Jan, thank you so much for being here. I know you're very, very busy, so I really appreciate that you're here.
No, thank you for having me.
Because usually, when you ask people how are you, you usually answer myself as well. I say I'm busy, but you're really busy, right? I mean, for you it's like it's true, you are busy. So maybe you quickly tell a little bit about yourself. What are you doing? I teased already, but what are you doing in real life?
Well, in real life, as you mentioned, I'm a general manager of a hotel in Dubai. I have a family, 2 children, teenagers actually, so that's full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
And obviously I trade, prop trader as well. In a nutshell, quick version.
Yes. So when did you, you mentioned it, you're general manager of a hotel. Why did you get into trading in the first place? Was it just curiosity? Was it what was it? Why did you get into trading?
I would say many people, COVID. In 2020. So obviously at that time, a lot of people were losing their jobs. In my case, salary cuts, high risk in terms of your job. You didn't know whether the hotel would still stay open or not. So I started looking at the trading at that time. I tried different avenues. I tried different robots, so to speak, which was interesting, but nothing was really hugely successful. And I decided, you know what, if I'm going to take this seriously, let's take it seriously and take a course and learn properly. Because education for this was important for me to actually, instead of just gambling, which is what I was doing in the beginning.
Well, I appreciate that you acknowledge the fact that you were gambling in the very beginning. So I think that's a very good example of someone who, just gets into trading in the first place because, different circumstances. Your circumstance was COVID. But you started by yourself, right? You started basically as a quote-unquote self-taught trader, right?
Correct, yes.
How was that going, and how was your experience by being self-taught and grabbing information from left and right?
Well, I made the age-old mistake or recent mistake of Google. So I Googled trading and trading strategies and so forth. In 2020, when I first started, it was to create a secondary income because, again, there was high risk in the market and awful. And markets, there was a lot of talk. The market is down. This is the perfect time to buy. So if you listen to YouTube and so forth, okay. So I looked at different options. I tried a robot with a MT4 Pro platform. The robot was a martingale strategy. Now that, when you look at the definition, it's used a lot in Las Vegas. And that alone, that sentence should have been a warning that this is gambling.
Yes.
But I didn't listen, right? So I tried anyway. And I did YouTube, I tried different videos and so forth. That was actually successful, beginner's luck. I made a bit of money on that. I would say almost $5,000, but I equally lost it all as well at the same time. Because I didn't look at the fundamentals, the supply and demand zones, which was something I was not learning and I didn't understand at that time. There's a lot of information on the internet, Google especially, and YouTube and Instagram. There's a lot, but you don't know what's real and what's not real. So after trying and error and thinking I was going to be successful, I said, you know what, I really do need education and I need to start. So I started researching different options of where to go and what to study. So I tried Elliott wave theory, which I liked. I thought it was quite interesting as a concept. Then I tried an academy, which is classroom-based. I found another online learning school which concentrated on Elliott wave theory, but again, it was a classroom. Then I found yours, so I looked at that, and yours was of interest because you had a choice between online learning, classroom, and mentoring, which the last part was of interest. So this is why. But I looked at different options. But I started, so I would say I was trading for about 2 years before I took it seriously.
All right. So, and then you eventually joined us, right?
Yes.
And as I also mentioned, you're a one-to-one mentoring student. Jan is your,
Yes.
Jan, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Jan is your mentor.
Yes.
And you joined Online Training Campus because of the mentoring, right? The one-to-one mentoring
was one of them,
yeah.
but one of the reasons was the mentoring, and I wanted that personal one-to-one. I didn't want to go a classroom. I didn't want to go and learn online. I hate online learning. I didn't enjoy it myself personally. I needed that, like a classroom on site, but I wanted more personal approach, a more one-on-one. So the different options available in Dubai as well as online was mostly classroom and online, which is this is why I decided to go with the mentoring. And when I looked at Online Trading Campus, there were some videos that you showed about the market, the money, the currencies, the differences, and that got my attention. And what you explained on those videos was an eye-opener on the mistakes I was doing in the past. So I said, okay, let's go with
relatable.
It was relatable,
yeah.
100% relatable. So I said, okay, let's go with the mentoring program and go with Jan. I was a bit too ambitious in the beginning, thinking I was ahead of the game and I had a lot of experience by Google. And but no, Jan kind of put a cold bucket of water quite quickly and showed me a lot. And he was very patient, very diligent in terms of really going through the basics slowly, not letting me trade in the beginning, and making sure that I was understanding the fundamentals before we even started the technicals. And that was crucial, and that was the foundation that was being built, which is very important, part of the education process. And then I started in July 2022 with Jan, and now we are in May. So by end of April, I had become a prop trader. So
congratulations, by the way.
you.
We're gonna elaborate on that also
in a
within
bit,
that podcast.
yeah.
Yes.
But with Jan, it was really look at the fundamentals, learn and understand what the market is. And we started with the equities because he gave me a choice between Forex, equities, or energies, or metals, what I wanted. And I liked the equities, so I decided. And it was partly chosen because Forex was such a disaster with the stretch. So I thought,
in your previous trading life.
Yeah, previous trading life. Let me just go something completely different. But actually, I love it. I love the equities. I love the stocks. And then we started with that, and we moved on to energies and metals. I'm still learning, and soon I'm going to be I have actually restarted the Forex, so I'm learning on Forex as well now. But that was my journey in a nutshell.
That's great. So to summarize, what is for you the benefits of having a mentor, a personal coach? Because, right, you have a busy lifestyle. You cannot fully focus on trading. In fact, almost nobody can. That's a myth, right? So, but you are really busy with other things in life. So, is that part why you chose a mentor, or does this help?
Yes, because as you said rightly, yes, I work in a hotel. It is 24/7, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening, sometimes on weekends. I needed that flexibility. And with Jan, I could literally book a time slot. When I first started, it was twice a week at the times that was convenient for me. I wanted to physically come here, so I made time to come here. He was flexible in the timing, and the poor guy, I'm surprised. I think he works 24/7. I mean, doesn't sleep. But he would answer emails, or he prefers WhatsApp. But he would answer the WhatsApp at odd times as well. So it was very convenient for that. And for work, to manage that personal and home life, it was crucial to have the mentoring for me personally. And when you're working a full-time job, it is hard to be able to trade, especially in the beginning when you're not actually making any money at all. You're just learning. And it feels like you're doing two jobs where the first one's paying you and the second one is not.
Yes, true.
But this is the benefit for me, the mentoring. It's better than the classroom. Classroom, you have to go in at specific times. It's usually in office hours. And for me, that's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not realistic. It's not realistic for most of the people, right? No. Great stuff. So how do you now incorporate trading in your daily routine? Let's dive a little bit in your routine. I think this is really important for everyone who is watching. right? How you can incorporate trading in your routine, and how does your daily or weekly routine look like? If you can maybe elaborate a little bit on that, like do you have a weekend? Do you have office hours that you say dedicate for yourself? Please, family, don't disturb me now. It's like my trading time or my analysis time. How do you do that?
Okay, so the obviously the learning stage, you choose how long you're going to spend and what time you're going to spend, and you know, are you going to be on Netflix at night or are you going to be studying at night? It's up to you. For me, now that I'm a prop trader, my rules are actually quite strict. So I trade actually Monday to Thursday only. Funny enough, not Friday, and I'll explain why. So I work on Saturday or Sunday. I will spend between 6 hours to 8 hours on my analysis for the week. That one day that I choose, depending on the activities of the children or my wife, what we want to do, we negotiate which day I'm taking to study, to do my analysis. And I will spend that time analyzing everything and my entire strategy for the week. Everything is noted down. I even have my blueprint cheat sheet where I can look at my rules. I write everything down of what I'm going to do for the week. Everything is written down, from entry, stop loss, everything. Also, if I'm not sure about something, I need to monitor and wait for a technical or a fundamental to align with one of our indices, one of the indicators. So be it. I write everything down. Then Monday to Thursday, every morning early, very early, around 7 a.m. before I hit the office, I will log in just to recheck what's going on, what's happened from when the markets open and so forth. That is my weekly and daily strategies. I have also a daily income strategy, which is the Globex straps. Okay. Now that one I will log in religiously at 4:30 p.m. without fail. The market open at this time in summer. The market or U.S. market opens at 5:30 p.m. So I log in at 4:30. I go through my Globex strap zones, see what's happening in the market, and then I'll set a trade up. And I look at that just for that 1 hour. So my hotel takes a pause at that time. there's no meetings between 4:30 and 6 p.m. And
you booked your calendar basically, right?
I booked my calendar. And then every evening when I go home, I will just scan quickly a trade to see what's happening. But it's just very short, 15 minutes or anything. My crucial time is the morning, the 7 a.m. I'll spend an hour. This is where I look at it. And Friday is my date night with my wife and sometimes with the children. So we agreed, okay, I don't trade on Friday. Plus, the Friday trading day is usually a quiet one anyway. For Globex, there's nothing much that happens. So it's okay. I rather spend the family time on a Friday night, go out, and then one day, either Saturday, Sunday, I spend it analyzing it. So my weekend is just one day. That's all I need. I don't need 24 hours. I don't need the entire day. I don't need 8 hours every day. I literally need that one day to analyze, and this is crucial. It's weekly and monthly trades or daily trades, which are on a set and forget strategy that is done and set up on a weekend. Monday to Thursday, just recheck to make sure there's no surprises.
So during the week, what do you think is your average watch time or your average analysis time, how much time you spend on the chart during the week? Like on during average, would you say it's more than an hour on average or less than an hour? Maybe without the Clobex straps, because
without the Globex straps,
because without the day trading, because this is what you have chosen for yourself. Less than 1 hour.
Less than
right?
1 hour. If I'm doing my day, because my entire analysis is done on the weekend. One day on the weekend, 6 hours to 8 hours, depend. Some weeks are very quiet. Nothing happens. Nothing's changed week on week. It's just a very boring month. So that I can do in 3-4 hours. It's done. Yes. I've done my analysis, and because I'm only doing the equities, energies, and metals at the moment. I haven't added Forex. It's not impossible to add more markets, because by doing it often and practicing often, you actually increase your speed, and it becomes second nature to read the charts, especially over time.
You get faster, yeah. It's like riding the bicycle.
Correct.
You not unlearn it, yeah.
The Forex, I spend a bit more time now on the weekend learning the Forex. So I would say if I'm going to spend, let's say, 6 hours on a Sunday to do my analysis for the week, I would devote 3 hours or 4 hours, maybe less actually, 3 hours only just for my analysis and my trade setups for the week. Then I'll spend more time studying and research and understanding the Forex and look at past videos. And I do a lot of my back testing. So my one day midweek on the weekend is my back test as well, time where I will test my indicators, test my strategy. I'm a big fan of back testing. It's crucial. You need to make sure that your strategy works. You have to.
No, amazing
So
stuff.
it's not that long, actually. I don't spend as much time. But when I first started with Jan, no, I would spend every evening studying.
Yeah,
That
because
was my
it's
own
learning phase,
yeah,
right?
it's a learning phase. And
the more you
I
learn, the better
wanted
you
to.
get. It's just normal with every business, with every
Correct.
profession. So
It's
there's
perfectly
no
normal.
surprise. There's no surprise.
No. So
But once you're a trader, right,
No,
then it
less
reduces time tremendously.
Considerably.
Yeah.
Now I can look at my equity charts because I've been doing it for almost a year now. The equity charts, I can really look at them within half an hour. I've done all my 4 charts: the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, and the Russell. Those are my 4 that I look at religiously. Done, half an hour. So it's not like when I first started. That was about 4 or 5 hours just for those charts.
Yes, no, because learning phase it's always different, and people have to understand that the more they learn, the better they get.
You have to devote your own time to learn.
Exactly,
It's crucial.
right.
It's either you watch Netflix or you learn. It's up to you.
Exactly, right. It's up to you. So can we say that you are now, after 1 year, you are already like a prop trader, which is like such an accomplishment, right? Can we say that you're already independent, or do you still depend on the live trading sessions that we offer? Or in other words, are you still watching the live trading sessions, the daily live trading sessions? And if yes, how do you use that? Or how did you use them before when you were not independent? Because now you're kind of independent.
Yes, I am independent on quite a few markets that I am trading now, and I like to watch the videos that we have just to see, okay, am I still correct in my zones? It's more of a confidence boost than anything else. For the live trading sessions, for me, in the beginning, you follow the live trading just to learn and see what's happening and educate yourself. Afterwards, what you must do, and what I do for the Globex afterwards when Clemens was teaching us, what I do is I would log in half an hour before him. I would do my zones, set my zones up. Everything would be ready by the time he logs in, and then he shows his zones. For me, if my zones match his zones, done. I was successful.
It's confluence, right?
Correct. Yeah. If I'm off, then that was a time to ask him, okay, this is what I chose. Why did you choose something else?
Yes.
And in the beginning, that happened a lot. Then over time, by learning and understanding what he was explaining, so the live sessions are more now for me. Sometimes it's just reconfirmation. I use it as reconfirmation when I want to use them. Sometimes I don't. Globex is kind of when I feel like, if I happen to be online doing my Globex strap on Thursday, Clemens is doing a live session, okay, I'll log in just to compare.
You mentioned now already Clobex and Globex strap quite a lot.
I love it.
People, I definitely have to do a video about that at some point of time. But can you describe, just in your own words, just quickly, what is Clobex for the people who have no idea what you're talking about? just in one, I can do it as well, but maybe you can just try. What is Clobex and how do you take advantage of these traps? What do you do?
It's a trap. It's literally what it is called. It is a trap most of the time. So it is you have a Globex low is before the US market opens, and a Globex high is after the US market is closed, so to speak. So
what is Clobex? Clobex is the time that...
The time... You can probably explain it better.
I want to, of course, I could explain everything. That's not the point. But I would like to hear it from you because you can maybe, in a more simplistic way.
For me, Globex is outside of the US hours.
Perfect. Yes, after US hours, this is Clobex.
This is Globex.
Right? And then you have US trading hours.
Correct. And what you want to do is, let's pretend, for the sake of argument, you have a Globex low and a zone below that, which is the previous US market timing, which was a... the supply zone.
Below demand.
Yes, below demand. Sorry,
that's okay.
Sometimes.
That's okay.
Supply. Now, if that zone is very close to 2 days before the market opens, that is called a trap. If
it's high quality.
It's a high quality trap. If the market then goes further down and you are already on an uptrend, there is a high probability that it will go into that area. Most retail traders will get stopped out.
Yes.
And then it will go up. How high up is open to debate.
Exactly.
I have very set rules. I will always take, my zone must always be a 1R, and I will always take a 1R no matter what. All through now, I've been a little bit... I'm reviewing that rule because I've had a few times where I could have done a bit more than 1R. So I'm currently testing increasing that a little bit. But as a general rule, I go for 1R.
And this is basically
This is
our
my
day.
rule.
Oh yeah, but this is basically our day trading strategy.
It's a day
right?
trading. I make about 2 hours in a week on Globex, and that's enough for me. I'm happy with that.
Perfect.
On an FTMO account, it's perfect. So I'm happy with that. And then my weekly trades are what is for me the more long-term trades, the ones which will give me the bigger R's and more profit at the end of the day.
But that's a good transition. You just mentioned FTMO. So you are certified now after 1 year, again, such an accomplishment. You are certified prop trader, certified with FTMO. So you passed the challenge, you passed the verification, and now you're trading a prop trading account. So let's talk a little bit about the challenge phase first, right? Challenge phase is the first phase in the entire evaluation. So you have to accomplish 10% of ROI in 30 days with a daily drawdown limit of 5% and a max drawdown limit of 10%.
Correct, yes.
So how did that go? And what is your experience there? What tips could you give to the people who are going through the challenge phase? Like, what helped you? What mistakes did you make? Just tell us a little bit about the challenge.
For the challenge, I actually didn't look at any videos or grids or anything from Online Trading Campus. I took the FTMO challenge as an exam.
Perfect.
If everything that Jan had brainwashed me on, and your videos had brainwashed and Clemens, everything, then I should pass.
Yes.
The first time I did the FTMO challenge was back in November. I failed. That was the first time. Because I think my risk to reward, my percentage, I was doing 1%, and 10% over 30 days is quite challenging.
Exactly.
So I didn't succeed. I also made silly mistakes in terms of trading during an FOMC meeting. There was a high volatility that took me out. And one day it took me out. So I kept learning and I retried again the FTMO challenge, but again, having learned all my lessons in the past. But this time I went with a 2% risk, which is against my rules because I don't trade more than 1%. But because the challenge is limited, you have 4 weeks only. It is 30 days, but it is only 4 weeks. Or if you want it, it's 25 trading days. That's all you have. So it is a little bit challenging and it is a bit stressful. So I believe a 2% risk is better. It just makes it easier. You only need 5 Rs in that case to then achieve the result you want. I decided to go only on my weekly and daily zone strategies. No Globex. I didn't do any Globex at all for my challenge. It was, again, I wanted to make sure that what I've learned for this exam was going to work for me long term. This is crucial. So I did my zones, everything. I did my trades on the weekends. I set everything. Admittedly, during the challenge, I did spend a bit more hours on the charts because obviously it's a challenge and you're a bit more in your, how do I say the word? You're more involved in it. You've got more, because you're doing the challenge, you have to be more involved.
Yeah, it's like an exam. It's like you're going back to school. So it's like it's either fail or pass.
Correct.
There's nothing in between.
Nothing in between. Fail or pass. So I definitely spent more time on it.
Yeah,
than I should have. But it was
nobody wants to fail, right?
Yeah, exactly. So definitely spent a few more hours than normal during that time. But it was worth it. I passed. But I only was successful 50% of the time.
That's okay.
On the statistics, it showed 50%.
So your win-loss was 50%.
Yeah, 50%. But
that's okay.
I got the 10%
exactly,
profit.
because of
that was,
risk to reward, right?
Yes. And I risked 2%, but I got it.
Perfect,
so
yes.
That was perfect. The verification stage was, I got a little bit too excited, thinking...
So verification, sorry to interrupt you here.
Sorry.
So verification is the second stage of
the second stage.
And there you only have to achieve
Only
5%, 5%, and now you have double the amount of time, 60 days.
60
so
days.
I want to tease already. So after your podcast, we recorded already another podcast. We're going to release another podcast the week after with Lars. And he passed the challenge as well, but then he failed the verification, right? Which happens as well.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So how did you manage, especially there in the verification? Because now you went through all the stress of the 30 days, you passed, but now you have another exam, basically, right?
It's an easier exam, but
you
still
feel
an
like
exam.
you feel like it's easier, but mentally it's maybe because you're so close to get like funded. Maybe you want to rush now, right? Or how did you feel through the verification?
That's exactly what I did. I rushed it.
So how did it go? And I mean, you passed it, but what are your learnings and what's the risk percentage.
Patience is so important in trading. In trading, you must let the market come to you. You have to.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Fine.
Yes,
Whatever.
yes.
Doesn't matter.
There's always another opportunity.
There's always
right?
another opportunity. You must be patient. So the challenge, I did it in 21 days, 21 trading days.
The challenge 21, okay.
Out of the 25 trading days, I did it in 21 trading days. Done.
Perfect.
The verification, I got a little bit too excited,
that's
cocky would be the correct word. So I passed my verification, funny enough, in 10 trading days. But my percentage went down from 50% in the challenge to 30% in the challenge, in the verification stage.
30%, okay, wow.
But I still passed.
Okay.
And in 2 weeks.
And you did 1% risk per trade?
2%.
Also 2%.
2%.
Okay.
Because I wanted to...
Yeah, that's the
get
rushing
this over.
part. Exactly.
And I wanted to pass. I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to wait. I want to actually now start trading my money now. Once you've passed the challenge, technically the verification is easy. But if you get cocky, if you get too confident with yourself, then the verification kind of puts cold water on you, and you need to have humility. You need to understand that the markets are not there to help you. You need to understand the markets. You let the markets come to you before you trade. And in the verification, I made a lot more mistakes, definitely. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I went to my rules. I stuck to my rules. The first few trades were definitely, I was -3 Rs in one shot. It was a good cold shower. I was like, okay, you didn't follow the rules.
Yes.
You know you should have followed the rules and you didn't. Good lesson. Hopefully you don't fail the verification. And I went back to my rules and I stuck to it. And like a robot, I was on that. And it worked. At the end of the day, I still passed. So my total challenge and verification, I think, if I remember correctly, is about 50 odd days in total, trading days.
Let's elaborate a little bit about prop trading in general. And I feel prop trading is really on the rise because it brings so much benefits to the table. What are the benefits of prop trading from your point of view? Or how do you perceive prop trading nowadays?
Well, to answer that, let me go back in time a little bit first. So when I first started, it was my own money. I invested $1,000 in a little robot to help me trade, a gambling strategy.
Yes.
Martingale, it's called. But that was $1,000. I was trade maybe 1 cent at a time or $10. That was it. Then I moved on and I came with you, online trading campus. I put my own money again. I put about $2,000, did some trading. Each trade was $50 risk. But the hours I'm spending, the time I'm spending for $50 to make $100 if you're doing a risk to reward of 1 to 2, it's not worth it. And it's my own money. The prop trading, what I liked about it is you pay a fee, but you get an account. Now, the one I went for at that time, I can't remember what the fee was, $300 something. It was a 50K account. Now I have the 50K account. Each risk I take is 1%. It's $500 risk. Compared to my $10 or $50, it's not comparable. So I'm using an account which is $50,000 on FTMO. I've paid $360 if I remember correctly to have it. I've passed. And that's all my risk is. My risk was the $360. That's it. That's all it is. So now every trade I make, if I'm profitable and I've done a 1 to 2, I've made $1,000 profit. And I keep, as per the FTMO rules, it's an 80% ratio. So I keep 80% of $1,000. If I do that once a week, I'm very happy. Compared to my little $50,
yes,
it's just logical. So I would never, ever risk my own capital ever in the future. There's no way. I would always go for a prop trader platform, 100%. It's a nominal fee, and if you do it properly and you've educated yourself correctly, you can then open those accounts. And there are other accounts. I went with a 50 because I wanted the 50K account, but you have smaller ones, I think 10 or 25K.
Yes, they call it.
You have then 200, 100 or 200 and 400, and then you have even more. You have others that do up to $1 million.
Yes.
So, and you can see where I'm going very soon.
Yeah. So, we would just keep this for yourself. We'll talk about your goals later on, because for sure this is one of your goals, right? 1 million maybe. But yes, we will talk about this later. So one of the benefits that you mentioned is definitely right.
Not your capital. You're not risking your capital. And this is crucial. Why prop trader is taking such a huge platform online where everybody's talking about it, and you have a lot of traders out there which are pretending to be prop traders or fake information. So you have to be very careful what they're saying online, and there's a lot of fake information. But if you actually educate and you do everything correctly yourself, why risk your own money ever again? This is not required anymore. I would never put in, I can safely say I'm one of the lucky ones. I have not lost a huge amount of money in my trading. When I did my robot, which I still have it because I still keep this memento of how stupid mistake that was.
Yeah.
I made about $5,000 with the robot, but I lost $4,500. So in total, I would say I'm up $500, but it was my own capital I risked completely. And if I look at all the money I've spent on different robots, different tools, it's probably the same 5,000. But why? Why? When you spend your money on education, you study and you learn, and then you go with a prop trader platform and you use a company's capital instead, and you keep 80% of the profit. The risk, emotional risks also is reduced, because if it's your own capital, you are more invested in that money, you're more afraid of losing that trade, and you might make an emotional decision. But with a prop trader, I won't say laissez-faire and not care,
No, you
but
won't.
you are more willing to take a risk, or more willing to, okay, this trade, if it fails, it doesn't matter. It's not my money. Obviously, you cannot treat it like a gambling on an ATM machine.
It's not a gambling machine. No.
You still have to be educated, but you are less emotionally involved on the prop trader platform. I find myself than my own money. I'm more afraid of losing $100 of my own money than I am of a $500 account. Oh, sorry, $50K account. It's just $500 risk.
That's I fully agree, right? I mean, I can only stress this. Like, I want to stress this in every single podcast, how this is now basically a risk-free business opportunity, right? As an entrepreneur, as like an online trading entrepreneur, right? Business owner, having the opportunity to run a risk-free business, right? You just have to pay for the challenge. It's like a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer. It's unbelievable.
It's funny because it is the same as when you work a full-time job.
Yes.
You in a hotel, where I run a hotel, it's $1 million or several $1 million business that I'm running, and I have to achieve millions at the end of the year. But I'm paid a salary, but I'm not risking my own capital. I still have to achieve it, and the risk is obviously losing your job if you don't achieve the target. The prop trader is the same principle, technically speaking, because you're working for a prop trader firm, you're risking that capital, and you have to achieve the targets. But what's better than a full-time job is whatever profit you're keeping 80% of the profit. I wish I could keep 80% of my hotel revenue. I would be happy as well. But prop trader is that. It's not your capital.
Great.
It's risk-free.
No.
It's worth it.
Worth it, yes, 100%, right? But you need to do your homework. You need to be educated, right? Don't treat it like a gambling machine. You have to be educated, otherwise, yeah, right? There might be some people out there who pass that evaluation phase by luck, but they will never get to the first payout, second payout. They will never be consistent, right?
Correct.
So yes, education is crucial in that regard. Now, let's jump a little bit, because I know you're not my student, Jan is your mentor, right? But I know how nerdy you are in a good way, right? In a good way when it comes to how organized and structured you are, how you're doing the entire analysis process. Would you like to explain your strategy now that you have, because you're now independent? What's your strategy, what you're looking at, what's your process?
So on my weekly, when I'm doing my analysis on a weekend, I have a chart, a cheat sheet, if you will, where I actually, on my screen, I have my red rules, which are unbreakable rules. I have my bendable rules, which depends on the bigger picture. And then I have my checklist, which is the green section. On the checklist, I have my fundamental checklist, and I have my technical checklist. And then on my last section, white, is all my strategies that I will implement for the day. And I go back and forth from my charts. I will sit down. So let's say I'm going through the Dow Jones. I will start from the the higher time frames. I will look where we are, what's the bigger picture. I will go through my fundamentals, and I will go through that checklist and tick. I have about, I can't remember off my head, about 5 fundamental rules. As long as 4 are aligned, I'm usually happy.
If I can interrupt you here, when you talk about fundamentals, what do you mean with fundamentals, right? I mean, yes, you're referring to our Campus proprietary indicators, right? So how do you use them? We have 3 of them, right? We have the Smart Money Index, we have the Campus Algo Forecast, and we have the valuation tool, right? We have some more, but let's stick to the 3.
Let's stick to those 3. So now
so these are your fundamental rules,
those are my
right?
fundamental
exactly. So
indicators that I use.
So in a nutshell, basically, you use our Campus proprietary indicators as your fundamental rules. This is your step 1.
That's my step 1. I will go through those, and what's important for people to understand, there's not one strategy that fits all in trading. Every chart, every market is different. So you need to do your homework, you need to do your back testing. Once you have that knowledge in the past, that's what I call my cheat sheet. I look at those. So for example, if I'm using my equities, it's very, very important that I use the algorithm.
Yes, algo forecast.
Algo forecast. We have the smart money, and we have the valuation. All right. So the valuation, where I'm comparing to interest rates, for example, this is one of the key ones that I will use
100%
for the Dow Jones.
For me as well, yes.
Yes, for the Dow Jones, that's one.
Yes, for me 100%.
And the algo forecast,
yes,
is also another fundamental that I need to be aligned with. And then I have my supply and demand zones, which is, when you're looking at all the fundamentals, where are you in the bigger picture? Are you on a lower low and it's at the end of the band? Or is there an entry point? Now I'm going into technical.
Is this still part of your step 1, or is this now step 2, looking at the bigger pictures?
Step 1 is still okay. The step 1 is really looking at the bigger picture and knowing where we are in the market.
Okay.
What's
so
happening.
higher time frame, supply and
demand,
weekly, monthly, exactly.
I start with my monthly. That's a few seconds to look at. Where are we? Then I go into my weekly, and then I go into my daily. Where are we in that? Because fine, your daily might be going up, but your weekly is at a downtrend, for example. So you need to know where you are on a bigger picture, and where you are with one of the indicators. Are you undervalued and you're already at a let's say on the weekly low zone, and you're undervalued, then you're going to look for an entry on a daily. So I go through my fundamentals, just see where I am.
Yes.
This is crucial. And again, it depends on which market I'm trading. If I'm looking at silver, I'm comparing it to gold. If I'm looking at equities, it's obviously the valuation and so forth. And then you have the smart money. This is also very important when I'm looking at the metals, the energies. You want to know where the smart money is.
Exactly. You want to follow the smart money.
Yes, you always have to follow the smart money.
And trade against the retail money,
and
right?
Trade against the retail traders. That's 100% rule. And you need to know where you are.
Have you also realized that sometimes even you don't see an extreme in the smart money, but you see an extreme in the dumb money, the retail money, and you can just trade against them, and the trade works beautifully.
Sometimes
right?
It does. I mean, the retail trade. I mean, there's a reason why when you go on any platform to do a demo or to do a broker, they always say this CFD is high risk. You could lose about 70% of people lose their money, and that is a legal sentence they have to put.
It's a legal disclaimer, it's always around 70-80%.
But what is interesting is they always mention that their favorite number is 72%. I see that all the time. But that means more than 70% of people fail. So that's a dumb money. So you never want to trade with them. So if the indicator, the smart money indicator, shows that the retail traders are completely selling, well, they're going to be wrong 70% of the time to 80% of the time.
It's a no-brainer, right? You want to buy, right?
And
you find the zone. Yeah.
And it happens to be, for example, the retail trader is at an extreme low. They're selling. The market that you're trading is at a low. It's at a zone on a low. and it's about to hit it, you're just going to buy it. You know it.
You know it's
now
going
the
to turn
question
at some point.
afterwards is the technical. When are you going to buy? And that's the technical aspect.
And now it's the second step of your process,
Yes.
right? Now you're looking at supply and demand. Do we have
Got
also
that.
price action rules incorporated, or is it just purely because you mentioned in the beginning, you are set and forget and get a live trader, basically,
Correct, because
right? Because you cannot sit in front of
trade
the screen
every day,
24/7, and nobody should, basically,
Correct.
right? So you have to set and forget and get a live approach. So you set your entry and your stop loss and your targets. So I guess you use just supply and demand then to time the market. This is your timing.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I literally look at weekly and daily zones. Now, if I find a small zone on weekly, it's not too big, I will just trade the weekly zone, for example.
Perfect.
If not, if it's too big, I will always look for a daily. And this is where my daily check in the morning at 7 a.m. is for. It's just to say, okay, on the weekend, I found a weekly, but I know there could be potentially a daily entry, which is smaller. So I will just pay attention and keep an eye on it. Are my fundamentals still aligned? Is the retail trader still selling? And nobody's changed any direction. There's no technicals or price action which is making me wrong. For example, let's say you have, I don't know, a hammer or a hammer candle. That's
So just price action, right?
price action.
Yeah.
Yes, something has happened that would make me like think, okay, maybe I was too late. Because sometimes what has happened in the past where my zone that I chose on daily was too low. And my rules are, I have very strict rules. So if I have a zone on zone, I always take the second zone. That's just my technical rule. And that's it.
We call this level on top of level.
Level on top of level. Jan is going to give me grief for not using the right terminology there.
It's fine, just for everyone to understand what we are talking
Level
about.
on level.
Let me just quickly go back to FTMO because it's very interesting what you said. So the FTMO evaluation, the entire evaluation, you passed without day trading. Is that correct? Without day trading?
Without day trading. No,
Perfect.
without.
No, I want to stress this because people think they have to day trade to pass that evaluation. It's wrong, right?
It's completely wrong. You
Perfect.
don't. I mean, I was successful on verification with only 30% accuracy,
Yeah.
which is actually quite low.
Yes.
If you think about it, as a percentage, 30% accurate is like, oh my god, you're not very good.
And no
But
day
that's
trading,
irrelevant.
yeah.
The 30% is irrelevant. Whether you have 30, 50, 80%, it is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
It is your risk to reward ratio that is crucial. And the daily trades for me, my weekly and daily trades that I'm doing are based on a 1 to 2 rule. I will not trade if there is not a possibility of getting a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio.
And the lowest time frame you go down to execute is daily, basically. Right?
Daily on when I'm doing
The execution.
my set and forget
Yeah, that's your
trades.
execution.
That's
Daily,
my daily.
yeah.
Sometimes I will go when I want to be a little bit cheeky. Now I have gone lower. I will go to a 240, even 60 minutes. But that is more for my entry. If I find a zone which is the daily is a bit big.
Yeah.
I want to reduce it, and this is
You want to enter just a little bit
Little
deeper,
bit
right?
deeper.
Exactly. Then you look like where the
Then I
real
look-
imbalance might be.
Correct.
Exactly.
Then
Yeah,
I
perfect.
will-
Yeah, no.
I will look through I have my hours that I like. I'm just very comfortable with them. So I will do that, especially if the risk to reward 1 to 2 to the next zone higher up is not enough. Then I will definitely reduce my zone if I can. But my stop loss, that never changes. That is
Yeah, that's crucial. I know.
crucial. That never changes. Just my entry might be smaller, a smaller zone to get more profit.
Yes, that's what people just have to understand. The stop loss can never vary, right?
Never.
This is fixed. It's just the entry. If you want to get a little bit in deeper to get more risk to reward proposition out of
Correct.
that, or if you want to be like, I want to be in that trade, right? And you
Yeah.
enter a little bit higher to increase the likelihood to be in that trade. So
It's up to you
Yes.
in your trading style what you want as a risk to
Exactly, right.
reward ratio. Me, I'm very happy with the 1 to 2.
yes, and should
I've-
be enough, more than enough.
It's more than enough. I think my best was a 1 to 4 so far. So I've not had. Some people claim you can do 10 times more, but I've never
Yeah,
come across
it's-
that. I'm more of a, because I have a full-time job, I have a family, and I don't want the stress. I don't want this trading to become a stressful second job. I cannot.
No,
So I like
yeah.
my set and forget. And this is what I love about the online trading campus strategy that you learn is you learn a set and forget trading style, which is what I like and what I do. Now that I do my Globex on daily basis sometimes, It's more because of me personally.
Yeah, this
I
is your
get bored.
personal.
Now I get bored. If I'm not in the trade,
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to trade.
habits. But let's
So that's personal.
let's not get into that rabbit hole of habits right now. But we don't have enough time, unfortunately. Otherwise, we could. But yes, it's just your personal preference, right?
Correct.
Because also that's. Would you say trading became your passion, or is your passion?
It's become a passion now. I love it. I really enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, in case my employer is looking. But
we will not share the podcast.
I enjoy what I do as a full-time job. I enjoy it a lot. But because my history in terms of hotel, I started off in revenue management. So looking at charts, looking at trends was something I've been doing for 20, 30 years anyway. So I love that. I like charts. I like looking at statistics, history, information. I enjoy this. So bring it on to the trading style is not that much. It's very different actually, but it's not something new. It's something I've already had and learned. I just had to change my mindset from trading. So I had to change my mindset from trading like gambling to trading as a business. And this is what I've done. And this was the hardest lesson to learn with Jan was to change my mental thinking from trading to make money to trading as a business.
And to be more process oriented rather than money focused.
I don't look at it as money. I don't look at it as, oh, I've made $1,000 or 500 or I've lost 500. No.
You're happy if the process is right.
The process is right. I've made one R. I look at Rs. Now I only look at everything as an R. Everything has to be an R, and how many Rs I can get and how many Rs I've made for the month. And that's how I think. It is a business. The trading, it has to be as a business. It is not, you must remove the money-making aspect of it
100%.
because you will fail then because you are 100%. Invested financially. If you treat it as a business, and like you've explained very simply, which I love, was that every profitable trade that you've made is just revenue you've made. Every losing trade is your expense. As long as you're profitable at the end,
you're running a profitable business.
You're running a profitable business.
And you're a successful entrepreneur. That's how it is, right?
That's all it is. So for me,
simple
trading
as it gets,
is fun. I love it. I really enjoy it.
Great. Would you say everyone can become a trader? What are the characteristics of a successful trader? What do they have to bring into the game to become successful?
You have to remove your emotions. Trading is very emotional, I find. Especially in the beginning, it was extremely emotional. I was chasing the money. Every trade, I have to make that money.
Yeah.
It was very emotional. So you have to understand that the trading is on chart. It is technical. There is technicals. There's indicators. You almost have to act like a robot half the time. You must have set rules. You must be a person that is willing to understand you have rules. You will follow them religiously and consistently. Also, another aspect of trading that people don't look at.
If I can interrupt you here, because it's interesting that you said, yes, you have to follow rules, you have to act mechanic, but I think you only get very emotional if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes, you need the education first. You need to understand what you're doing. Once you're educated, but it's not just education. You have to have humility. It is a fact. I think one of the lessons you mentioned, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, right? They have the best tools. They have the best systems. They have the best people on board. They are accurate 80% of the time. How on earth does anybody else think they can just go into trading without education and be 100% accurate? And there's no chance. I passed the verification with 30%. My trading style now is not more than 40% accurate. I make mistakes. Usually it's on my entry timing. That's it, not my fundamentals. I don't make mistakes on fundamentals anymore. So you need to have that humility. You need to understand that you will get trades wrong. And if you understand that and you're not emotionally bound to it, and that you're treating it as a business, and you're consistent with this approach, then you'll be profitable. True.
So what are your trading goals, your upcoming trading goals for the near future and the next, maybe this year, the upcoming year? What is your What are your goals?
My 50K account's too small.
Oh, now we're going back to money-centered. No, I understand. No, I was just kidding, right? But yes, of course. I mean,
once you're consistent. For me, I need to become a little bit more consistent in my approach on certain trades that I'm doing. I want to improve my forex. So my forex, I'm learning again. I'm going back on that.
When we say forex, you mean like really currency trading, right?
Trading,
not like
yes.
CFD in general.
No. Sorry.
Because we trade on FTMO, you trade anyway. Forex/CFD, because everything is a CFD, everything falls under the Forex umbrella.
Okay.
But you mean like currencies?
Currency, I mean currencies, the euro to US dollar, those type of trades. So those I want to work on. Literally for the FTMO challenge and verification, I only worked on the equities, the three actually, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and S&P 500. I worked on two energies, the palladium and silver. Two metals, palladium and silver, and I think on energy it was only on oil. That was it, and I passed the entire thing with just those markets. Didn't need more than that.
Yes.
So now moving forward in the goals, I want to expand a bit more. I want to get a few more markets that I want to practice on. I didn't even trade the stocks.
Wow.
Not even those.
Okay.
So I want to improve my stocks. My stocks, I'm not great on it. I think I feel I need to definitely become more consistent in my approach with those. Definitely the currencies I want to improve on, so I want to learn. So this year for me is I have a certain number of R's I want to achieve by the end of the year. Once I've achieved that, I will do the next challenge and increase my account if I've achieved because my goal is to achieve a certain number of R's. I've achieved that. I can get my pay raise now and increase my account
your salary raise, your milestone planning, right? Your internal milestone planning, right? When to give yourself a raise, right? And then you get.
I have my ultimate goal within a certain years.
Yes,
I'd love to have the $1 million account.
Yes.
And I don't see why
there's no
possible.
ceiling. There's no ceiling.
Well, I'm seeing it now, so I'm looking at it. But when you look at it, if you think about it, it's $1 million account. It's not your money you're trading. And you keep 1% of that, and you keep 80% of the profit. You're risking 1%, of the million, and you're keeping 80% profit.
Actually, with that, you keep 90%.
Really?
Yes, really.
See, I'm more motivated now. So my short-term goals is definitely to become more consistent, improve my markets, increase the markets that I'm trading in. Then is to increase my account size. And obviously, when you are trading a 50K account versus a 400K account or versus $1 million account, it is going to be a very different trading style. You are not going to be doing a Globex on $1 million, for example. That's not
let me answer on that one. You will, but you will not take 1 or 2% risk, right?
Correct.
You will take 0.5% risk
Correct.
or so, but you can still do it. I still do it, but I'm lowering my risk, right?
Yeah, you're not going to do 1% or 2% on $1 million. No, definitely not. So and when you're trading $1 million versus 50K account, you don't need as many R's.
Exactly.
Compared to my salary.
Yeah.
You don't.
You look for more quality. You're going to look for
quality.
Exactly.
And I will literally be a lot more strict on my fundamentals and my technicals. And I will really, if they all align, will I enter a trade? That's just logical. And if you think about it, on $1 million at 90%, you get 2 R's. That's more than the average salary in Dubai.
Yes.
So it's worth educating yourself and going for this.
100%.
100%.
Last question from my side. What would you say to people who are still hesitant to get into trading? Is it worth getting into that rabbit hole to educate yourself and start trading? What do you think? What would you say?
If you're a person
or to say to people who say, I don't have time, right? There's something I get that so many times. I don't have time. I'm too busy, which I would say is BS, but it's just my personal opinion.
100%
but yeah.
BS. And to throw another thing into perspective, when I did the challenge, not only was I working a full-time job, you have the challenge of stress. I'm also doing a BA. It's a BA top-up program because I needed to update my bachelor's degree. So I'm also doing that at the same time.
Wow.
So it's up to you whether you time. You either put your time to watch Netflix or you put your time to educate yourself. It's up to you. And you need to manage time. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not trading is 24 hours, 5 days a week. You can find the time. It's up to you. It's up to you.
It's always up to you.
100%.
Yes.
And whether people should trade or not, it is up to them whether this is something that they think they will like. I mean, do you enjoy looking at markets? Do you enjoy looking at charts? If this is something that you want to do and you think, you know what, I wouldn't mind making a bit of money off $1 million, why not? You know, it's a personal. Some people prefer to just do other types of jobs, and that's up to them as well.
All right, Jan, good stuff. So last but not least, you can also ask me a question if you have one, and then we can slowly sum it up.
Yeah, I think one, and some questions I get asked by some people that want to do trading as well. Are you going to add a lot more indicators or tools, and is it necessary?
So we have a few more tools definitely in the pipeline that are built on our existing tools. So basically just tweaking our existing tools. There is one more tool in the pipeline that we haven't talked about it yet publicly, right? It's the optimizer. I know that before the podcast we were chatting about it, and you desperately are waiting for the optimizer because it's another very, very powerful tool. It's like Siri, or it's like Alexa for trading, right? Basically to just tease what else we have in the pipeline. But yes, I think they are necessary nowadays, and very important to use these tools to increase probability, right? The probability of your success. So they're absolutely supportive in our trading. So yes, there's more in the pipeline, absolutely.
And do you believe that traders should have or should use all their tools that they have, all the indicators all the time? Is more the better?
When it comes to our tools, or in general? I mean,
in
general. I mean, let's generalize this a little bit more. Yes, I would say to use our tools. Yes, you have to use them, right? And then dependent, as you said, dependent on the market. Some of them are more important on a certain market than others, and so on, right? We don't have to go into detail here, but in general, your chart should never look like artwork. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like clustered with indicators, because at the end of the day, we are saying indicators, but they're more like forecasting tools. Indicators are always lagging, and if these indicators would work so well, then why is not everyone making money in the market, and why are 70% to 80% failing if all these indicators out there would work so well? I'm just always asking people, use a little bit of common sense. If these tools that are publicly available, that everyone is using, are working so well, why do we have such a high failure rate? Where's that gap coming from? Right? So just people have to use a little bit of common sense, then they understand that all these, or most of them, are just garbage. Sorry to say, but that's how it is.
And I think that's something that you mentioned just now, and it's true that the indicators from the online trading campus, what I like them a lot, they're not based
on price.
They're not
lagging.
They're not lagging, and they are forecasting tools.
Yes.
But they have to be used with some common sense, some education, and understanding the fundamentals.
And that's why we are not sharing them publicly,
Correct.
or not just like on a subscription base, because people have to understand them, how to use them, and you can only explain this in kind of a course environment kind of thing, right? You cannot just say you cannot just say plot that tool, now use it.
No.
It just doesn't work like that.
Without the education, those tools are useless.
Yeah.
You will not use them correctly at all. You need to have the education.
Perfect.
That's 100%.
Yes. Great, good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. So I think we came to an end. Thank you, Jan, for coming. I know you have to go back to work.
Yes. You are busy. Train waiting for me as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching. And if you have questions to Jan, you can ask in the comment section, or I leave Jan's LinkedIn handle in the video description. You can look up Jan. You can ask him any kind of questions if you want to. Follow Jan on LinkedIn. And see you next time. Happy and safe trading, everyone.